Welcome to the Dr. Grant Show. I am so pleased and so happy to bring you our next guest. Her name is Azu Lopez, and she is an intuitive business and coach and human design analyst. What she does is that she actually helps leaders build and scale their businesses from their own unique energetic blueprint, which is also known as utilizing human design to tap into that special secret sauce and pull and extract out the true message that a business owner wants to share with the world to help them attract the right clients for their business. And one of the reasons why I have her on today is, I don't know if you know this, but human design is huge. There is a huge amount of information and trends going on talking about human design. I am positively fascinated with this topic, but have not had the time to really delve into it and find out what makes it so special and why it transforms people's lives. So this is why I brought on our special guest to talk to you more about that and how it's played a role in transforming her life so that she could reach her goals. I'm turning it over to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for the invitation. So I'm very happy to talk about human design and how your life can change through this great tool. So I'm gonna explain a little bit what I said for the people that I never heard before about it or just heard a little bit. Human design, it was channeled by Alan Krakowen, better known as Ra Uru Hu, in 1987. So it's a beautiful mix and combination of ancient wisdom from Kabbalah, from quantum physics, astrology, all the things, I Ching as well. So if you know this type of wisdom, then you realize what is a little bit more about human design. So it's a life-changing tool. It's not a belief system. It's not a religion, nothing like that. It's just a resource that you can bring to your life and improve business, improve relationships, improve everything.
Okay. Now, talk to me a little bit more about how human design, how you fell into it and discovered it, and how it may have impacted and moved the needle on several key important elements of your life.
Right. Well, I was first introduced to human design and when I was part of a group coaching program a couple of years ago. And I got really curious about it because I was thinking, well, you can get your own information because this is not just a personality test. It's more than that because you get your own formula or equation depending of your birth time, place of birth, location. So it's kind of astrology, but it gets you way more information about yourself. So I start to discover this, and by the time my mindset wasn't in a very good place. I was really struggling to put my business out there, and I had all these fears, the entrepreneurs' fears that we have that we're not going to succeed, all the things. And when I started diving in human design, on my human design, I discovered a lot of traits that I have and a lot of things that make me different from the people around me. That was fascinating because I discovered that each of us, we are unique. We all have our own energetic codes inside of human design, and we can understand others. So basically, really shift my mindset in a different way. I became a more grounded person. I completely surrender and trust to the universe about my business. I keep the work, but I know how to do the work because it's a resource that helps you and informs you how to do things. They write your strategy and your authority for every single thing. So following this, I've been discovering great things around me, and even the environment change in my own in my own house and in my business, as I mentioned before. So really shift my mindset. So my mindset is in another place. Is I feel great. I feel excited about every single day going on, and even the challenges that I can have in my life. Now I know how to address them. So that's why it's so important for me to spread the word about human design.
Now, tell me where human design, almost like a blockchain, is the way I look at it, a chain reaction almost. So, one thing, especially as a business owner, one thing that I know a lot of new entrepreneurs and probably even older entrepreneurs too struggle with at one point in time in their journey is fear of it not working out, fear of failure. Where does the thought of, oh my goodness, I'm going to fail, this is not going to work, this idea I have, I'm not sure it's going to work, and then where does that leave off? And human design comes in and picks you up and helps you move through that. Where does human design fit in that scenario?
Okay, well, in human design, you are going to find in your, it's called your human design body graph. There is this diagram of your own centers, of your own archetypes. We have archetypes in human design. We have something called a strategy and authority. And I'm going to answer this question with us because it's very important to know like the difference when you before human design and then after human design. So basically, there are 5 archetypes, and from those 5 archetypes, each archetype has their strategy and their authority. The strategy is the way that you're going to perform in life. In my case, I'm an archetype called projector, and projectors, our strategy is called waiting for the invitation. And it sounds weird, like waiting for the invitation. So like waiting for the invitation for what, for who? And it's basically all about to being invited. So we well, and then we have our authority, that my authority is from the spleen or from the intuition. And then one is fear here, because before I something very funny that I used to say, like I have to make decisions with my head instead of my heart or my gut or my intuition. And that was wrong, because all the time that I made decisions that I knew that weren't good for me, I had no like I they were kind of failure, because I was fearing of listening my intuition, and our intuition tells us the way that it's no fear. It's just it's telling you if something is good for you or it's not. You can feel that. It's so organic. It's so natural. But we are just like in our heads all the time, and we allow fear to take over, because if I follow my intuition, then what's going to happen? I'm not going to succeed. I'm going to, we tend to analyze all the things. That's why we allow fear to come to us and stop us for greatness, because we have to have facts instead of following our intuition or our emotional response to make decisions for us. So it's very important to understand the difference between fear and your intuition, because fear sometimes comes from a place of insecurity and vulnerability. So we have to really analyze where is this fear coming from, and it's normal. We don't have to fight it. We have to embrace it, but contemplate it and ask the right questions. Why is this fear telling me? So if my authority is, in my case, my intuition in human design, then I have to trust my intuition that is telling me that something is good or not for me, that I have to follow this path or another path. So that makes the difference between fear and intuition, and then allow us to really make decisions, being more secure, being feeling in a safer place instead of just fearing uh, on things that probably they are just in our imagination, you know.
So let me walk it back a little bit to fully understand and articulate in a situation like fear how human design and that strategy and that strategic approach kicks in and takes hold. If I'm a business owner, and especially if I'm a woman and I'm struggling with, and I always have to put this in the context of trying to prevent binges, overeating, and I'm stressed about my business. And if I let this stress continue, and stop me at any point if I'm getting off the rails here, if I let the stress continue and I make a decision from my head, what logically should be happening, what the logical next step is, but I feel internal resistance about it, and then it doesn't turn out the way that I anticipated. On my end, if I'm struggling with binging, overeating, food addiction, then this does two things. It confirms, number one, that, oh, I knew it was going to go wrong anyway, so that doesn't do much for me to move my business forward. Secondly, because I'm triggered and feeling low, it's a catalyst to cause me to eat or indulge in unhealthy behaviors. In this case, I'm talking about food, but this also could apply to someone that suffers from addiction, period, from food addiction to cigarettes to drinking to just unhealthy behaviors, period. Comparing it to injecting the human design element into it, once again, tell me anytime I'm off the tracks here. If I go with the human design strategy and what I'm taught there and understanding that, I have a decision that I'm stressed about for my business, but I'm a student in understanding human design and the archetype of that. I know what kind of archetype I am. And if I learn to work with my intuition for that archetype, even though that intuitive pull may in some cases defy what's logically supposed to happen, what the odds are, I'm going to experience less stress because I followed my intuition. And there's a higher chance it'll probably work out great because I've got more intuition and more good spiritual energy behind it, which means my stress level goes down and my business goes up. Did I put that in a nutshell pretty decently, or did I miss anything?
No, that's amazing. That's
Okay.
yes, that's a great answer. And I will talk about this because it's very curiously you mentioned I struggled before with anorexia, and I knew inside of me that the reason for that it was because I couldn't have control over the things, my external things. So I tried to have control over my weight and over my food and all that. And but I didn't really understand why I wanted to have that control until human design. Why? Because the only the other parts of our human design, they are called nine centers. They are very similar than the chakras in the chakra system. The chakra system, they are just I think there are just seven, and then we have nine on human design. And the reason that I was struggling with the food and trying to control things is because these centers, these nine centers that each of us we have, they could be either open or closed, and each of them they have an interpretation, and they have how to explain things that we have to work on our personality and our mindset. So basically, the head center, the one is like a triangle. It is a triangle, sorry. So the head center for me was open, and the center controls controls the control the that when we have we want to have control over things. So because my center is open, it's good when it's closed, when your centers are closed, because that means that you can work easily you can align with each element of each center. That could be self-worth, that could be ego, that could be purpose, support, all of those. But in especially the head, if you have open your center that goes to the head, then it means that you struggle trying to control all the things, the external events in your life. So when I found out about that, I completely understood in that moment why I was binging that food, because I wanted to have the control, because I have the center open. Now I know that I have to work to avoid that control and surrender and trust more the universe and trust more in myself. So this is another part of human design that is incredible, that is fascinating, that we go through, because you can find a lot of things of yourself that you wouldn't think about it in this way. You could think, oh, maybe it's a problem that I have with the food or with the stress, and I'm blaming the stress from addiction to this or to that. But probably it's because your centers, those centers need attention. Certain centers that you have open need that attention.
That is delicious, what you're saying. Seriously. Now, I am a avid yoga practitioner, so and loved it so much. I finally decided to deepen that love and get certified as a yoga instructor and teacher. And part of that curriculum is delving deeper into the chakras, how it works in the body, how if one is blocked. And one chakra is not, so to speak, better than the other. I don't know if it's the same way in human design, but if one is blocked, then you'll start noticing certain physical ailments. You'll start noticing certain things where you have a need to control it, like you're saying. You'll be trying to control certain elements. And if that element in your life is not controlled or satisfied or working in the way that you find satisfactory as it relates to food addiction, then that is your trigger and catalyst for a binging episode or a overeating episode or giving into food cravings, because of that one chakra being out of balance or being clogged or not being open. And it seems like human design is overlapping a little bit with yoga and the chakras. Am I right here?
Yes, you're right. Absolutely, because in this case, yes, it's very similar. It's very similar, though we have like to really dive into your own centers, because it's going to really set you free from all the negative things or patterns that you may have. And it's very helpful for that. And it changed your life, absolutely, because now, in my case, with food, in this specific thing about food, what I do is I try to follow my intuition, like more intuitive eating, if you call it like that. I went with a lot of nutritionists before, with a lot of specialists, and now I know how to really nurture my body. It's more of if I craving something, what I'm craving, that do I really want that is good for my body? I'm way more mindful of what I'm bringing, like to my body as well, in general, as is in my business, as everything. So that's how human design is really shifting everything about it, around it. In my case, in the example of the food problem that I had, I went through years I think like 20 years with a specialist and all the fitness programs, all the things. And now that I found human design, I understand that I want to eat more in an intuitive way, like they call intuitive eating. But for me, is that very mindful of everything that I put into my body, that I can like even like have a cheat meal and not feel like guilty, because I know what I'm exercising, and I am exercising now for fun, to feel good, instead of just getting to certain size of my clothes. So basically, it changed everything around me, human design, because it becomes a tool that you can use every single day with all in your relationships, with your family, with your partner, or even with your children, or with the food, in your business. So that's very important, because just your own human design archetype, strategy, authority, following that. I know it can sounds complicated now, but once that you get into it, because it's very easy to get into it, then you understand how you perform the best. So it's going to be a life changing tool for you, and I highly recommend it. That's so true, because once that you address one thing and you know how to work with it, then it comes natural, because at the end of the day, this energetic blueprint of each of us, it's something that we just discover, because it has been always there, and we just discover it, and we just follow through, because it's so natural for us. We follow through, and then we start seeing a lot of positive results, and expanding our consciousness, or expanding our relationships. Even it works even for manifestation and abundance and prosperity. So all these things are just connected, and when you find it, they're gonna help you to improve every single part of your life. So that's why for me it's important to get this message out there, and to help others to discover their own energetic blueprints.
I think this is beautiful. I wish that the concepts that we're talking about were taught in schools. Could you imagine if a younger version of yourself actually even had, you didn't have to have the whole human design thing worked out, but if you had even been exposed to this methodology, this way of looking at your life from a younger age, how do you think that would have changed your life moving forward so far as opportunities and things like that?
Wow, I think that it could be a completely different story, because getting back to those days that I was so insecure, that I was so fearful of showing off for my business, of showing off in general, even in school. So that would be like just amazing. And that's the main reason that now that I have my little son, my 3-year-old, to teach him all of this, so he's going to grow up with this information, and then he's going to change his life completely. Well, not change, because he's going to actually grow with it, but it's beautiful, because now I can share this knowledge with him, and it's going to be, his life is going to be completely different that my life has been. So that's the beautiful job about it.
And I can see from a generational perspective, you're coming in now with what you know and how you have healed and continue to heal. And then our children, because I'm a mother as well and a wife, our children and their children's children will not step in the same muck that we've stepped in before and learned those hard lessons the hard way. And can you imagine if you expanded this out, human design, whatever it is that you want to call it in terms of just this mindset of growth. If we train our children, expose them to this stuff early on, in addition to what's being taught in schools, you don't have the same mistakes generationally speaking. There's no more, oh, well, your mother did it that way and your grandmother did it that way, so you have to do it that way. All right, well, my last question to you is for people that are interested in learning more about you and your services and just want to talk to you even more about human design, how can they find you?
Oh, of course. You can find me on my website. I'm having a lot of free resources for you to understand your where to get your human design chart and understanding more human design for business, for leadership, and even manifestation. So you can find me. It's www.thealchemist, like alchemy, thealchemistleader.co.
Okay. So we have been talking today with Azu Lopez. She is absolutely wonderful. I really recommend you engage with her warm spirit. And if you are a business owner, it's about more than just simply learning the strategies and the tips and the tools. You are in your business and your business is in you. And unless you are able to identify key areas that have been pitfalls for you in the past, you're only going to be able to take your business so far. This is one of the reasons why, if human design is of interest to you, you might want to check her out. For more episodes of the Dr. Grant Show, we work with women that have suffered from food addiction and food addiction symptoms such as overeating, binge eating, emotional eating, stress eating. I am the first person to come up with an actual scientific study that was done online and in 4 weeks actually helped women that suffered from food addiction reduce those symptoms, as well as, and even though this wasn't even the goal, they lost 20 pounds in those 4 weeks using a psychological approach of social cognitive theory. And I did this because I lost my mother to food addiction. And I vowed, after looking through her things, I saw 3 dresser drawers filled with diet books, magazines, newspaper clippings, going all the way back to the 1970s, which is when I was born. Don't calculate my age. And this is when I realized that this was all about your mindset, all about your mindset. But deeper than that, it's about your ability to believe that you can accomplish what it is that you actually want to believe. And when you don't have that belief, and you don't have the tools to help your mindset get to where it needs to get to, you get stressed, you get overwhelmed, and you're living and you're not playing full out. And that not playing full out feeds into more stress, which feeds into more binging. So I created this show and have guests like Azu on here because I want to illuminate for ladies and a few brave men, instead of getting men telling me that they watch the show too, but I want to share with everyone the various mindset approaches that are available to you. And perhaps you've identified and see yourself in the conversation that we've had today. Take the tools, take the tips that we've given you, contact her if this is something that resonates with you, because you don't have to suffer alone. You don't have to suffer alone at all. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching the Dr. Grant Show. You will see us soon. We are on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Much love to you. Bye-bye.